Embezzled about $30,000 from Selena Quintanilla's businesses.
She was never charged with this. She was never convicted of this. But Abraham believed he had his evidence.
Then a lot of employees at Selena's boutique started to complain to Selena about Yolanda Saldiva's behavior towards them.
She tried to be very controlling. She wanted to be in charge completely of who had access to Selena.
Hey, 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 it's Tia, baby. And I am back with another video. So, I want to thank you guys for checking out my video last week about the Trump versus Quintanilla shenanigans. I did get some haters. I'm assuming they were Trump supporters. I'm not knocking nobody. I mean, if that's who you vote for, if that's who you like, that's who you like. I can't, you know, whatever. But and they had a lot to say, you know, in the comments about what I said. And then, yes, somebody said something about, oh, can you turn off the music? I was trying to give it some suspense. I was trying to, you know,
bitch, where?
spice it up. God dang, can I try? Like, what's wrong with trying to spice things up a little bit? But, you know, I'm working on the, you know, the editing thing is still, you know, new. I'm doing the treat.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
I'm doing the cheap route, cause ain't nobody got no money like that, and I got bills to pay, and plus YouTube ain't paying me yet. So yeah, I'm trying my best. Bear with me. But as you guys can read the title, I am going to do a video about, of course, my girl Selena. You know, now I have not ignored anybody's requests on upcoming videos. I am going to do my best to fulfill your requests. Like I know someone said they wanted me to talk about the AB situation with the baby daddy situation. I guess like the what is it called? I ain't got kids, so I don't know what it's called. Child support issues. And yeah, so I haven't forgot about that, but this was heavy on my mind. I don't know why, but this was heavy on my mind. Like you all know, I read Chris's book a million times, and this is probably like my 6th time reading it or more. I don't know. And like I told you guys before, you know, sometimes when you reread or rewatch something, you miss something the first time and you catch it the second time, the third time. It's always something new. So I had been, you know, read this book again, but I didn't finish it the very last time I read it. I was on the very last chapter that it talks about, you know, the stuff leading up to her demise. And something just told me to, you know, start reading the last chapter that I left off on. And it made me upset, like it always do when I read it. But, you know, I learned some more facts. And based on the title, I said that I feel like she could have been saved. Not one time, not 2 times, not 3 times, but like 6 different times. Her life could have been saved. All this could have been prevented. Why I say this? Because when I read, and I'm not finished reading the last chapter, but I'm on the part where, you know, they started to notice some things, some off things about Yolanda. Now I know in my past videos I said that I feel like the dad had something to do with it, and this is why, and I explained that then, but then now that I'm reading this last chapter, this is what validates why. Another reason why I validated. Now this is just my opinion for those that are kissing Abraham's ass. Now, in the last in the part, like towards the beginning and the middle of the last chapter, the designer, Martin Gomez, he is the guy that, helped design a lot of Selena's costumes on stage and in her boutiques and stuff like that. And he has mentioned to Selena on numerous occasions that something is off about Yolanda, that Yolanda scares him. He kept telling her, Yolanda scares me.
One of those people was Martin Gomez.
We had ordered zippers, and the zippers were delivered to Yolanda's home. And I had my assistant go pick them up. And when she came back, she goes, Martin, it's very scary. It's wall-to-wall pictures of Selena. And I remember thinking, this is kind of weird. It's kind of a little bit obsessive.
He thought, this isn't good.
And then one time I went to the dentist and my insurance hadn't been paid out. And so I came back and I said, Yolanda, my insurance hasn't been paid out. And they're saying it hasn't been paid out for 6 months. And she says, oh, I'll fix it, but don't tell Selena. Well, of course I'm going to tell Selena. And Selena says, Martin, she's got it under control. Don't worry about it. And that kind of started us in turmoil.
He could see Yolanda manipulating Selena. He knew there was something wrong there. So he separated from the business.
I basically went to her and I said, I don't think this is going to work. Girl, I said, I'm really nervous she's going to hurt you. And I meant hurt her physically. I think Selena hurt her reputation. I think weeks had passed by. She calls me on the phone, and I remember I said, Selena, I'm really scared for you. One thing that Selena would always say in Spanish, cuídate, take care of yourself. And I remember telling her, girl, cuídate. She giggles, she goes, you worry too much. And that was the last conversation that I had with her.
I think she's going to hurt you. And he cried every time he talks about Selena. And I notice he does that a lot. Like when he brings up Selena after all these years, it still haunts him to this day because he explained that he has told Selena several times that this lady that something's wrong with her, that he fears for her well-being because he don't feel like Yolanda is wrapped too tight. Like I said, I also read in the book that one of the employees had to pick up some paperwork or something from Yolanda's house or apartment, and it was filled with pictures all over her walls of Selena. Now that is single white female stuff. If you don't know a single white female, go check out that movie. It's basically a person that's obsessed, and it's very, very, that's red flags right there for one, but she just kept brushing it off. That's what was making me so upset about Selena. She just kept brushing things off. Now, like I said before about Abraham, if it's multiple people are saying the same thing about a person, then 9 times out of 10, most of that is true. And this wasn't only coming from Martin Gomez. He was not the only one that kept complaining about Yolanda. He kept saying that she was mean to the employees, mean to him, taking like his creations, destroying them. He was firing people she was firing people that she didn't like. Some of the employees said the exact same things that Martin Gomez was saying that she was very mean, that she was manipulative, that she would fire people that she didn't like. She was giving people a hard time. Nobody can go past her to get to Selena. They had to go to her first. It was just a lot of complaints about her. And but Selena just kept brushing it off, kept telling, Chris, kept telling Chris, they just mad because they don't like, her being the boss and them taking orders from her, when that really wasn't. And then what made me mad about Chris was that he just kept going along with it, because it was like, if they're bringing this to your attention and Selena's attention, why aren't you like, well, wait a minute, Selena, I mean, come on now. I don't think they just picking on her. All of it is adding up. Like, they're obviously not lying on her, because all their stories match. But I'm thinking like, okay, let me not be completely mad at Chris, because I got to think about it. They were young back then. They probably didn't, 20s, sometimes early 30s, especially men. It takes a while for men to really think logic. And, but Selena, yes, she was young, but I'm sorry, she was just very naive and gullible. And that is what caused her demise, because she was just so gullible. And I understand, because I'm kind of like that too when it comes to people. I don't like enemies. I don't want people disliking me. I try my best to do what I can to please people, to make people happy, because I don't want them to have a wrong perception of me. So I can understand why she act like that. But then again, I still keep my guard up, because you just never know. And in that case, you just never know. And she didn't realize until it was like kind of too late to figure out that this lady was, not all the way there. And then another thing, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. I read, okay, so all the employees were coming to Selena, but because she wasn't really listening, she was like brushing it off, because she was so dedicated to Yolanda and was grateful for her, all the help that she's done. They went to Abraham to complain about Yolanda. And Abraham, was like taking their opinions about Yolanda into consideration. But what made me mad about Abraham was that that's all he did. He just went to Selena and said, this is what they're saying about her. And she basically did the same thing, brushed it off. Oh, they're just upset because they don't want to be told what to give orders by her and all that. I'm sorry if you hear the washing machine. Look, the struggle is real. But what that pissed me off, because it's like, you're the manager, you're very stern, you did everything you could to put Chris and Selena apart, because you had a perspective of Chris. You thought he was a cancer to the family, when it was actually Yolanda. You thought he was out for just the money. You thought he was only with Selena for her money and her looks, but it was nothing like that. And you tried everything possible to keep them apart, to the point where you went all around the world searching for Selena, because you noticed that she didn't come home. When she didn't come home, she was still out. So you was around searching for him, for Chris, to see if Selena was with him. But when everybody went to you, because Selena wasn't listening to them, you just go to Selena and tell Selena what they told him, what they told you. Like, what? And then okay, so then they started to believe them. Like, Chris and Selena started to believe them once they got records of their credit cards being used without their authorization. And they knew that Yolanda had full she was in charge of all that. Selena left her in charge of everything, which was bogus to me. She left her in charge with all the credit cards, all the petty cash, everything, all access to their businesses, and she left her with a spare key to her house. That's just, and I'm sure she probably didn't have none of hers. I bet her father didn't have a key to her house. Their house, I bet her siblings didn't have a key to her house. Like, it was just mind blowing how she let this lady have complete access to her life, not knowing that this woman was psychopath. So once they saw the credit card bill and noticed that all these outrageous prices, money was taken out of the accounts without their authorization, she brought it to her attention and of course Yolanda denied it and was like, I don't know anything about this. They brought it to Abraham's attention. Abraham got upset. So Abraham confronted Yolanda. It was Abraham, Yolanda, Selena, and Suzette. They were all in the office, and he gave her a chance to explain. She was stumbling over her words. She was like, I don't know, I'll fix this. I don't know where all this is coming from. Then he got upset once he found out that fans were complaining because they wasn't getting their merchandise, because she was in fact, had a lot to do with all that, because she was so busy spending money on whatever she wanted to spend it on. And he, instead of him taking matters into his own hands, he just threatens her by saying, I'm going to take you to you are not to set foot in this company ever again. I don't want to see you ever again. Do not come near my family or I'll have you arrested. Abraham, really though? But let's fast forward. You sued Chris because he was coming out with a series about, going to reinteract his book about this, the marriage between him and Selena. But you actually went to court. You not only threatened him, you actually went to court and sued him. You're in the process of suing the guy that put the Trump stuff on the statue, which is very fine. That's fine, whatever. But you're putting everything into action. You sue every other fan that does unauthorized things that comes down to Selena. But you did not do anything. You did not put forth any action towards Yolanda when you had physical proof that she was stealing. She committed a crime. I'm not even talking about murder. I'm talking about she committed a crime. She stole. That is a crime. She stole thousands and thousands of dollars, and you just threatened her by saying, if you step foot in this company again, I'm going to call the police. No, this is what you should have done, because you had her in the room. It was you, Suzette, and Selena, and her. Y'all could have locked that damn door, called the police, and had her arrested for embezzlement, and she could not be released unless somebody bailed her out, but she had to pay that money back. And then you should have, on top of that, you should have filed for a restraining order where she could not go 100 yards or feet within the Quintanilla Perez family. That's what you should have did. Then you should have had around-the-clock security in front of Selena's house, your house, AB's house, had Selena's locks changed, and then you should have had Selena and Chris to move to a temporary house, outside of Corpus until their dream house was being built. That's what you should have done. You made every chance you get to pull the wrong people apart from Selena instead of the right people apart from Selena. Like, come on now. You made Chris' life miserable. You made fans' lives miserable for doing the right thing. But the one person that you should have did harm to, you didn't. You just threatened her. When you had her right in your face, and that's when you should have locked that daggone office door, called the police, and had her arrested right then and there. because you had physical proof that she committed a crime, that she stole from you, from her, from everyone. Then on top of that, so Selena was playing detective because Yolanda took some of her tax papers, some of her paper documents, and she wanted them back because she needed to file for taxes. And Chris said in the book that in his mind, he thought about, well, the documents is not that important because we could have got a lawyer to tackle those forms for us to file. But why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that to her? Why didn't you say that to her? You thought about it, but you never said it. And then on top of that, why didn't you just do that? You should have just got a lawyer, and then you should have got a police officer that had a warrant and go and meet with Yolanda and got the damn documents and retrieve them. And then these are all different scenarios that could have happened and should have happened. That way Selena could have been here today. It's just mind-blowing. It was just so many opportunities that no one took to save this woman's life. Now, I understand they didn't think, but come on now. Selena saw the gun days prior to her death. She went to go meet Yolanda at a restaurant parking lot for the documents. So Yolanda calculated all of this. She knew what she was doing. She did not bring all the documents on purpose. She was toying around with her. So she showed her the gun and was lying to Selena, saying that it was for protection from people that was threatening her, these mysterious people, which could have, it could be true. You never know. I don't know. But that's what she told Selena. Selena was like, why you have that? You need to go take that back. You don't need that. Da, 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 da. And, she was trying to sweet talk Yolanda just so she can get all her stuff. And Yolanda fell for it. And so from what the book, it said that she did eventually return the gun, but she got it back. And they said that she bought the bullets. The type of bullet she bought was to bring severe damage to whoever the person she was going to shoot, which she did. So she went, when she got when she did retrieve the documents, some of the documents that she gave her when they met up in the restaurant, she told Chris, she was like, Yolanda bought a gun. He was like, what, for real? Why? She said because she's scared and she's been getting threats. And he said, not to Selena, but he was saying, from the future, he was saying, damn, I do regret. Maybe I should have told Abraham that she had bought a gun. Or maybe I should have, let the police know she bought a gun. But he still didn't think that she was capable. You can't just assume people are all goody-goody two-shoes. You have to think logic. Come on now. If all these people said that they were afraid of this woman and that she did this, she had murals of Selena in her house, she stole money. If you lie, you steal, you kill. They all in one. She lied about stealing. She lied to everyone. She stole, and look what happened. She killed. So come on now. You can't, at this point, you can't put anything past that woman. And they all did. And I don't know why. Yes, they were young-minded, but come on now, for real. You got to think that. And I didn't finish reading it. That's all I got so far, even though I read it before, but that's all I got so far last night. And it pissed me off. It made me think damn, if they were thinking very logical, if Abraham would have put his foot down like he put his foot down with everybody else, this woman would have still been alive today. Still would have been alive today. I'm just really upset. I'm really upset because there were a lot of ways to get around from her meeting that woman at that hotel. And if she did had to still meet her at that hotel, what she should have did, I don't know why she didn't tell Chris to go with her. especially knowing that she had a gun. But what she should have did was went to the police and got a warrant and had a police escort her to the hotel so they can retrieve all the documents. Because every time they were meeting up, she kept playing these little stupid games, mind games, and keep bringing her half of the documents. So she should have just had a police to come with her to retrieve the documents for her. That way, she would have been saved another way. It's just so many different ways. Like I said, Chris could have opened his mouth and could have got a lawyer to, you know, retrieve the documents for her, or Selena could have gotten a police escort to retrieve the documents for her, or to avoid all of that, they had her in that room when they confronted her. Abraham's dumbass should have just called the police right then and there, locked her up, retrieved got her a warrant, go to her house, see if she had anything else that she stole, and get all the documents needed, and her ass would have been in prison for embezzlement, and she could not get out until she paid all that money back, until she and somebody pay her a bond, and she could not go within 50 feet or 100 feet within the Quintanilla Perez family. But no, nobody was proactive, nobody, and that's what pisses me off about the whole situation. I just wish that somebody, other than Martin Gomez, somebody, and other than the employees, that somebody should have put their foot down and said and did something. Not keep saying something, but did something about it. All this talk about Selena, life could have been prevented. It just makes you emotional, and that's why a lot of times when Selena's picture is shown or a snippet of her is shown, people are sad. They're happy but sad at the same time, because we all know that she was supposed to be here. If she was here today, like I said in many other videos, I felt like she would have been a musical sensation in the mainstream world, in the English world. I feel like she would have done hits with Beyonce. I said in a video years ago that I believe if she was still alive today, she would be doing Beautiful Liar with with Beyonce. Two bootylicious, curvy Texas women doing that song, and it would have been a major hit. Not saying, and it was a hit now, but I believe it would have been a major hit then. And I bet that Beyonce would have chose Selena first, because she grew up knowing who Selena was because of them growing up in Texas. So I really felt like that would have happened. She would have had a few kids by Chris. I felt like she would have been in movies. I felt like she probably would have, believe it or not, would have done a couple of songs with J-Lo. I don't think J-Lo would have been J-Lo, if Selena was still living, because I believe the music industry would have chose Selena before J-Lo, because and Selena had the body just like J-Lo did. Selena had the dance moves just like J-Lo did, but Selena had the voice. All these things could have happened if they would have just woke up and took a stand and put some action towards their words when they said they was going to do this, do that, making all these threats towards Yolanda. They should have put some action towards it. She should have been behind bars, like in the interview that I put on this video, when they said that she was never charged with embezzlement when she should have been. But hey, what can we do now but continue to, keep her legacy alive? So until then, like I said, I'll come back with another video. Peace.